honored to be here to share a story that began not with, a lot of wisdom or a lot of education at the time it began, but with a vision, a simple vision. Like many engineers or other professionals always say that, for example, some of us that work in Nigeria, uh, uh, particularly working in government or government agencies, plan retirement planning, usually start for majority of us in the age of when you're in your 50s, you know. So after all, you've been busy building your career all these years, so usually it is when you turn 50 or even over 50 that you begin to start thinking about retirement. So this today, what brought us today started the discussion that brought us here today started when some time back when myself and the prof were discussing, you know, all these what I will be discussing with you, and he decided that I will have an invite to share my story with my dear friends and professionals, particularly those of you around the Manchester area. So, so I'm very, very excited. I'm honored to be with you today. And as you can see from the screen, the title of my presentation, Future Proof Retirement, as investing 20 years early in tea, coffee, and agro-processing. Okay. Before I go into discussing all that, I will give you the agenda of today. So I will introduce myself as then tell you a little bit about my background, education, and experience, and then my motivation that brought me to presenting to you today, and the lessons and investment policy that I've adopted over the last few years that made me, worthy, if I would say, to be invited to speak. Okay, and then building a future-proof retirement plan. I will share. I know a lot of you are professionals who have probably done more than I have done, but it's good to share. So I will share a few, a few plans on how to build a future-proof retirement arrangement, and then we can take questions and answer. We can take some questions at the end and then close. Okay, so my background, starting with my education. My name, like I said earlier, is Abubakar Garba. I was born and raised in Kaduna. I attended my primary education in Kaduna, started with Kaduna Capital School and then Essence International School, where I completed my primary education. Then did my secondary education as well at Essence International School. And before proceeding to ABU Zaria, where I studied electrical engineering. After NYSC, I hope you can hear me. After NYSC,
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes,
Every
we can
other
hear
person
you.
is muted. Yes.
after NYSC, I proceeded to the United Kingdom, Scotland in particular, directly to Scotland, Glasgow, where I did a lot of, as you can see on the screen, a lot of postgraduate. I will tell you why I did all those. So don't say I like book. I'm not like prof. Okay. I went to Strathclyde to study electrical and electronics engineering. After that, back in the days, after studying in Scotland, you get 2 years visa to work and get some experience in the UK. So the main reason why I stayed back after after Strathclyde, I got my 2 years to work in the UK. So when I was running out of the 2 years and I really wanted to stay back to explore to develop myself in terms of experience and, exposure, I decided to enroll for the MSc at the Glasgow Caledonian University so that I can stay back in the UK. So I decided to go to another field that I'm not really, familiar with. That is management of information systems. So after that, I got another 2 years to stay back in the UK and keep exploring. Building myself, developing myself, making contacts. Understanding why they are ahead of us. You know, and then finally, after those 2 years of the second postgraduate degree, I decided to return home to Nigeria. So I'll come back later on the Buckingham, where I did my master's in communications management. That was an executive master's program, which I was going back and forth from Nigeria. Uh, so my background and experience, okay? You will see a lot of, I don't want to bore you with a lot of text, so I'll do more of the talking. As you can see in the middle box on the left-hand side, you will see telecom reliability methods, energy reliability methods, engineering and technical reliability methods. So these are three companies that when I returned from the UK, I established, okay? Being an electrical engineer, being somebody with a master's in engineering, in information systems, in communications management, I wanted to go into telecommunications. That was the plan. At the same time, doing some energy projects. So I set up three companies: telecom reliability methods, energy reliability methods, engineering and technical reliability methods. So I was using those three companies, one of them telecom, using it on the telecom industry for consultancy, projects, and so on. Energy in the energy industry, like oil and gas, engineering and technical in the construction, consultancy space. So after a few years, I realized, it's not easy, to get into where people have been operating for many years. So I decided to say, hey, let me go into real estate. How do I understand real estate? I said, okay, let me go into Federal Capital Territory Administration and go to development control in order to work as a regulator, regulating and inspecting construction of real estate by the big players so I can learn. So I went to FCDA to learn what development is all about. And I did that for a few years. I realized that if you want to break into real estate development, you need a lot of resources, financial resources, and I didn't have that. So I said, okay, what I will do is let me focus on another industry. So I got a job with the Department of Petroleum Resources, where I moved to Lagos, started working as a regulator in the oil and gas industry, and I've been there ever since. So while I am there, I I came across one of the most successful businessmen in Nigeria, if not in Africa, by chance. I was in Atlanta and that was the second time I met the richest man in Africa, Aliko Dangote, and we got talking through who I met him with, and then he said he was leaving for Lagos the next day, and I was actually leaving for Lagos the next day. So he said, "Oh, you're going to Lagos?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm going to Lagos too." He said, "Okay." You can come with me on my private. I said, okay, that's nice. That's an opportunity for me to fly on a private jet, you know. So it was about a 10-hour flight from Atlanta to Lagos. More than 50% of the flight time, I was asking questions upon questions. You know, how would you do this? What do you think about this? You know, because when you see this kind of opportunity, you don't allow it waste. Then he said, I said, okay. So one of the questions I asked was, if I want to be, if I want, what would you advise somebody like me to do, to go into in this country, in Nigeria? He said, if you want to be successful, go into manufacturing, production. He kept mentioning manufacturing, production. I said, but produce what? Manufacture what? He said, anything. Make sure you manufacture or produce what people consume. At that time, I didn't understand what he was saying. He said, make sure you manufacture or produce what people consume. I said, okay, like, can you tell me like what? You know, I want the easy way out. He said, no, I'm not going to tell you. Go and think. What do people consume every day? Look at my business. I produce sugar, it's consumed every day. I produce salt, it's consumed every day. At that time, I said, that's true. So go and think. What do people consume every day? Produce it or manufacture it, and then you're in business for life. So, okay, that's a good idea. So I didn't understand and I didn't know what to do at that time. But that conversation that I had with him stayed with me. Okay, it stayed with me. So by the time I was still working in Lagos, I I was working in the crude oil terminal operations where we were, and while I was in DPR, while I was were inspecting and regulating and monitoring crude oil production offshore, land and offshore, you know, as a regulator. So I now met somebody who works with NMPC in one of the offshore terminals, and we became friends. So so he invited me to to come with him to his hometown. That I would love it. I said, where is that? He said, Mambila. He said, Mambila Plateau. I said, Mambila, that's in Taraba. He said, yes. I said, okay, I love adventure, so I'll come with you. So I escorted him in 2016 to Mambila. I think somebody's microphone is open.
We will address that.
Okay.
Carry on. Thank you.
Please go ahead.
So we went to Mambila Plateau in Taraba. We flew to Jalingo and drove 12 hours from Jalingo to Gembu. The road is bad. It was an experience. So all the time I was passing the villages in different communities before we get to Gembu, from Mesamari to Kakara to Goroje. We're passing. I was watching people. I was looking at people. We see different farms here. Here, farming X, farming Y, farming Z. So we kept stopping on the road. I said, oh, let me look at this farm. Let me look at this. Let me look at that. Then suddenly, something just kicked in my head. I remembered our conversation with Elijah Aliko Dangote years ago. I said, you have cattle here. You have strawberries here. You have avocados here. You have moringa here. Everything grows here. This is over 2,400 meters above sea level. Everything grows. Why can't we process? Why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? I started asking questions too. Why are you not doing it? So that was the beginning. So we got to Gembu. And I'm told we went to greet the Emir of Mambila. I said, "Sir, Your Majesty, I want a farm here and I need a land to build a house here." He said, "What are you going to come on? What are you going to come and do in this village?" I said, "Yes, I want to be from here now." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." So that was the beginning. Before I go far, sorry, I jumped NMDPRA, Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. I started from DPR, but the PIA split DPR into two, the NUPRC and the NMDPRA. So I am in the NMDPRA part, before I forget. So when I bought the farm and started farming, okay, I started farming tea, white tea. When I reflected on my discussion with the industrialist back years ago, he said what people consume. So I started searching on the internet. What are the things that people consume the most? Then I got through a list of the most consumed drinks in the world, and the number one is water. Number two is tea. Number three is coffee. Before alcohol, beer, wine, and so on. I was like, okay, so this is a good idea. Water, a lot of people do water. Tea and coffee, maybe I can go into it. What do I need to make tea? All you need is one leaf from the tea trees. So I decided to plant some tea trees, because already there are smallholder farmers farming tea in Mobila. So I started planting tea. I started with tea. Then the second was, I saw there are a lot of avocado farms there. So I started I planted a few trees of avocados also, because avocado is needed everywhere in the world. By the time we started harvesting, I took samples of our avocados to Europe, to Netherlands, in trying to see if we can supply avocados for the European market. And they love it. They said, these are good grades of avocados and would love to have it. I said, okay. So we now decided to go and expand the farming of avocados, planted more trees, thousands of trees, to do more. Unfortunately, by the time we started the export process, before it gets to destination, the avocados will perish, because handling avocados are very difficult to handle. So we realized, due to the lack of infrastructure in Taraba, from Mambila to Jalingo to Abuja or Lagos, for export by air cargo, we can't handle it. So I was like, okay, which other countries in Africa farm avocados and export? Then I found Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. I said, okay, I think I need to go there. So in trying to plan when to go, I came across a congress called Africa Avocado Congress. And I registered, and I went to Nairobi to attend that congress, trying to find out how can I export Nigerian avocados without perishing. Then I realized the same problem they have in Kenya, they have in Uganda. Then I said, what do you do then? They said, what we do, we extract the avocado oil and export instead, which even gives us more money than the fruit. I said, okay, how can I do that? They said, yeah, there are some sections of Italian and Turkish companies over there who manufacture equipment for oil extraction. You can go talk to them. So I went to them. I said, okay, I need avocado. I have trees. I grow avocados. I want oil extraction machines. They said, okay, we have several. They showed me the cheapest that is manufactured in Europe, Spain and Italy. The cheapest, or the smallest in capacity, is about 500 kilogram per hour extraction of avocados. And it costs about €500,000. I was like, oh, I can't do that. I said, I need smaller equipment. They said, we don't make small. If you want small, you go to China or India. So I started looking up China and India. I'm having difficulty with China communication. India at least speaks English. I flew to India. And luckily, after up and down, I got a 50 kilogram per hour extraction equipment for $38,000. So I had to go raise money to buy the equipment and bring it to the farm. Bought some renewable energy, solar panels, batteries to set up a mini extraction plant. So when we did that, we were extracting avocado oil from 50 kilogram of avocados every hour. Then the first challenge came. We can't harvest enough avocados in our farm to give us 50 kilogram per hour. That's another challenge. So I said, okay, so what do we do? I was discussing with a friend of mine who happens to be a green guy, because I call him the green guy. He is the president of 1 billion trees for Africa. So what he does is he goes all over Africa, different countries, planting trees, helping people in communities to plant trees, because he says he wants to hit 1 billion trees, planting 1 billion trees in Africa. So he happens to be an ABU Zaria graduate as well. So I met him. I said, hey, this is my challenge. What do we do? He said, okay, in Mambila, you are not from Mambila officially. Originally, I said, yes. So you have to be very careful. What you need to do is you have an NGO called Thrive Initiative for the Less Privileged, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, as you can see, while the 1 billion trees on the right-hand side. So I said, okay. He said, okay, so go to His Majesty and pledge that you want to plant 100,000 trees of avocados, moringa, tea for his people. And when they start harvesting, you will get them buyers. Okay. So, okay, then what do we do? Where do we get the buyers? He said, no, we buy them. We buy the products when they harvest. I said, okay, that's a good idea. So we made the pledge. We traveled to Cameroon across the border to Bamenda to get seedlings, organic seedlings of all these avocados, tea, and so on. And then we did the nursery in Mambila, started allocating, trees for different communities, different farms. And then we scale up the avocado production significantly in the kingdom. And then we started buying the fruits from them, because they are selling the fruits for people to eat. We are buying the same fruits to extract the oil. So this is what we started doing. And then we were able to heat the 50 kilogram per hour for 6 to 7 hours of processing every day. Then we have more fruits, but our machine is 50 kilogram per hour. So we can't go beyond that. And because it rains 9 months in a year in Mambila, you don't always see the sun. So we have to scale up our solar panel generation and then bring more lithium batteries, which is more money. So we decided to So, okay, what we're going to do is let's get a bigger machine. So we're able to raise money over the next a year and a half or something like that. We were able to raise money and bought the Italian equipment that can that that extracts 500 kilogram per hour. And mind you, 16 kilogram of avocado gives you 1 liter of avocado oil. And 1 liter at the moment goes for around $4.50. So it's even more expensive than gasoline, PMS. Okay. Anyway, that's by the way. So we started doing it and started exporting the oil to Italy. And these are oils that people, I'm sure they process and package for people in supermarkets. Maybe in Sainsbury's, Tesco, you buy avocado oil for cooking, or the ladies buy it for their hair. They think it's Italian avocado oil, but it's actually from Nigeria and Tarawa, or from Kenya, or from Cameroon. So that opened up our eyes. So we started making money when we recovered our money, when we recovered our investment for the 500 kilogram. We were making money. We said, okay, what are we going to do with this money? Let's not just keep spending money. Remember, our plan is to retire, is to have a retirement plan, is to have our retirement business running before we are 60 years old, which is our retirement age in Nigeria. So we now proceeded, we decided to invest the money to scale up our tea planting, to have more trees. Right now we have over 80,000 trees in our farm. As you can see on the left-hand side of the middle box, Anna and Associates Farming Company. Okay, that is the farming company. So we started farming tea, huge plantation. We harvest the tea, we process the tea, then we started exporting the tea to Egypt and Kenya, Egypt and Turkey, because Turkey is the #1 tea consumer in the world per capita. The second is Egypt. So they don't grow tea enough. Egypt doesn't grow tea. Turkey grows not much. So we keep exporting to them. And 1 kilogram of processed black tea, for example, is about $3. 1 kilo is $3. So we said, okay, let's be exporting tea. So we started exporting tea. And then the money we were making from the avocado oil export, we decided to put, and again, you see another company, Associated African Foods and Beverages. That is the company that exports and sells globally the avocado oil and the tea. So it's a free zone company, so it can operate anywhere in the world. So we decided to use the money from the avocado export to set up the tea processing and packaging company. Because when you go to the supermarket today in Nigeria or anywhere in West Africa, 95% or more of the teas on the shelves are imported. 95%. And when you remove India, Kenya, and Sri Lanka, and probably China, so 50% of the teas on the shelves are from Europe, are from countries that don't even have tea farms. I said, okay, why are people patronizing teas from Europe? Why not patronize Nigeria or somewhere in Africa? So we realized the problem is the packaging. Our teas in Nigeria are not, or in Africa, are not well packaged. So we decided to set up a company called African Blend Organic. Okay, if you go, which packages the tea, the blends and packages the tea. And the brand of the tea is 1961 Mambila. So if you go to 1961mambila.com, you'll see all our products being sold in Nigeria. So we decided to start packaging the tea and giving the packaging that is as good or better than the packaging of Europe. So right now we are blending about 13 products in Nigeria. We are the first. We are the first in Nigeria to blend teas like Earl Grey tea, vanilla black tea, ginger and lemon black tea, and so on. Okay. So the avocado business gave birth to the tea business. Okay. So we are now cruising that we are looking for even what to go into next in agro-processing. So Anna and Associates recently acquired a 45-hectare farmland in southern Kaduna, where we have just commenced the process of planting our first set of ginger. Okay, so to be honest, we plan to exit work at 60, but clearly we're doing it even before 50 because everything is working. So that is what led me to you today. Okay. So, but along the line, I faced a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges. I've mentioned just a few, you know, from Mambila, to Mambila to financing, but what I always tell people is that these challenges, don't let them make you discouraged. Don't let them discourage you. Look at the challenges and make them, you know, look at them as like an invitation to innovate something new. I never planned, for example, to extract avocado oil for export, which makes the company more money than even the fruit. But it's a challenge of taking the fruits out of the farm to the airport to export. It is that challenge, the infrastructure challenge in Nigeria, that led us to extracting the oil. And we put them in 200 liters drums and exporting them. And each liter, you do the math, each liter is $4.50. Just do the math, okay? So challenges are not obstacles. That is one lesson I have learned. They are an invitation for you to innovate something that you never knew, okay? Then secondly, the tea export we're doing, 1 kilogram of processed black tea in the international market, even if you go to the Mombasa auction in Kenya, is $3 to $5 per kg. $3 to $5 per kg. That's 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. We're all engineers, and I'm sure all of us are engineers. 1,000 grams. And one tea bag is 2 grams of tea. One pack of tea is averagely is 20 tea bags. Okay? 20 tea bags in one pack, which means is 40 grams in one pack. And one pack is being sold in Nigeria between 5 to 10,000 naira. So let's even assume, let's say it's 5,000 naira. 5,000 naira is around $3, right? Or over $3. So by the time you do the math, 40 grams of one pack of tea, which is 40 grams, you sell it for 40 grams divided by $3 is 13, that 13 grams. So by the time you do the math and calculate the $3 that you get per kg, and then, but if you process the $3 tea into tea bags, one tea bag is 2 grams. So 1,000 grams gives you 500 tea bags. 500 tea bags gives you uh, 20 tea bags per pack. It gives you 25 packs of tea. Okay, 25 packs of tea. If each one is 5,000 naira, it gives you 125,000 naira. 125,000 naira is just under how much in dollars? So you can see the value from 5,000 naira to 125,000 naira. So there is a 120,000 naira increase in value just for processing it and packaging it in Nigeria. This is obviously before the cost of production and cost of packaging and stuff. So it is highly profitable that if you get raw materials in Nigeria, do not just export it. I'm sure you're aware of what is happening in Nigeria today, which I am directly connected to with my energy.
Oh, engineer, are you still online or network has intervened?
I think he's still online.
Okay. Engineer, it seems you are muted then. Hello, Abubakar. You are muted.
I think it's not muted, but maybe it's disconnected.
Okay. Let me see.
Calling on his mobile.
Okay. Please just hold on. When he joins, we can go to interactive session or question and answer, please. Thank you very much. I think it's been quite engaging. I mean, this is really an excellent way of solving problems, which engineers are known for. So that's an excellent entrepreneurial disposition. So please let's add him, and then we can go to the question and answer session. Thank you.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, you are back.
I'm so sorry. I think I got disconnected.
Sorry about that. Okay,
Yes.
see what we are going to do now.
So I'm just sorry. I've taken over your time. You know, sometimes I get passionate.
The entire 1 hour. The entire 1 hour is yours. So what we are going to
Let's
do
do question
now?
and answer.
Yes, let's do question and answer so that you can use the opportunity to say more. I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you have any question, please raise your hand and ask. Okay.
Sorry, I put my question in the chat.
Okay. Muhammad, please go ahead with your question, and then we can read the question at the chat session.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for that presentation. It was quite informative and insightful. My question has to do with, is there any certification you needed for export, not from Nigeria, but from to the country you're exporting. I think 3 years ago, I had come across some exportation opportunities, but someone said we needed a CE certificate, which had put some obstacles to that opportunity. I don't know in this case if you've experienced any similar obstacles. So I just wanted to ask if there's any certification that you need for exporting, especially to the Europe market, especially when you're exporting stuff like avocado and refined oil. Yeah, thank you.
Abubakar is connected to the
Yes.
question at the chat session.
Yes,
which
I've seen the
is-
question at the chat
Okay,
section.
go ahead. So you can combine two of them and respond. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, thank you very much for that question, Mohammed. Yes, like I mentioned, the extraction is being done in Nigeria at Mambila, and we approached Nigerian Export Promotion Council and NAFDAC and Standard Organization of Nigeria, all of them. But the pressure, the obstacles we experienced made us do something different, which I'm not advising you to do. But because my partner, who is the president of 1 Billion Trees for Africa, is half Nigerian, half Cameroonian. We went to Ibiza area together. So his mother is from Cameroon, his father is from Nigeria, from Taraba. So luckily, we have a farm also in Bamenda in Cameroon. Okay, so, and we have a company called Associated African Foods and Beverages, free zone company, which is registered in Dubai. The company can do business anywhere in the world except in Dubai. So like I mentioned earlier, that company is the company that exports to Europe. So what we do is when we extract the oil, because we tried the Nigerian way of exporting, but it's stressful and too much hassle, so we decided to go the Cameroonian way, which is easier. So our exports leave Douala for UAE, Jebel Ali, then from UAE to Europe. So maybe that will answer your question. That is for the oil. And then for the tea, yes, we have registration for NAFDAC in Nigeria for the tea. We have NAFDAC registration, and we obviously you can't put in the supermarkets in Nigeria without NAFDAC number. So we have NAFDAC, and it was a tough process, but we had to do it to get the products in the market. So yes, we have NAFDAC, and now we find an easier way to handle NAFDAC, but for the oil, we is a free zone export, just the way Dangote free zone exports without export permits. So free zone companies have leverage. So because Cameroon is very easy, they have a lot of exports for avocado as well. So we use the Cameroonian route for the export. So it's unfortunate that Nigerian avocado, we have huge capacity for the oil, but it's not tagged as Nigerian oil, as Nigerian avocado oil. But maybe in the future, we can try to see if we can start processing and packaging the avocado oil in Nigeria and exporting the finished product instead of the raw oil. Is that okay?
Yeah, that should answer the question. Our patron, please go ahead. Engineer Demola Olufemi, please go ahead.
Thank you.
I saw another question from Patrick Obidoin. You want me to respond to that?
Okay. Later, our patron finish, and then you respond to that one.
Okay.
No, let him go. Go ahead, please. Let him go ahead, please.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Patrick is asking, how have I been able to resolve the challenges of local logistics, transport, local staff, and standardization? Okay. Let me tell you my strategy in the farm. In the farm, my strategy is the people I employ, because I can't be going to Mambila all the time, even though the emir of Mambila gave me a title, which like 3 years ago I was turbaned, as the Jagabon Mambila because he seems to like me very well of bringing a lot of activities in his community. So he gave me the title of Jagabon Mambila. He I have a house there. I have a farmhouse in the farm. I go there a lot, and I sometimes I go 3, 4 times a year. But this year I just went once. I don't need to go there. So the guys I hired in the farms, whatever we harvest, we split 50-50. They own 50% is my farm. But I decided to make it that way to be generous so that we won't have problem. Whatever we harvest, let's say we harvest uh, maybe 30 tons of tea this month, 15 tons belong to them. So if I want from them, I buy from them. If I don't want, I take my 15 tons and they sell to anybody. There are a lot of tea processing companies, tea blenders in Kano, for example. They don't have farms, so they buy those kind of teas from Mombila. So this is my strategy, and it's working perfectly, to be honest. A lot of people say, oh, we're going to pay them salaries every month, and then whatever they harvest, they bring to you. This is where you find problem where people harvest X quantity, and then when you come, you see half X or even below. So me, what we do is, and I have CCTV watching everybody from everywhere on my phone. So really 50-50. They take it. I still pay them anyway, their salaries every month, and they take 50% of what we harvest and then they give me 50%. So I'm happy with that for now. And then logistics, because the oil we export from Gembu to Cameroon is less than an hour. Through Dorofi, you go to Bamenda, stroll down to Douala for export. So for the avocado oil, we don't have a problem with that. We don't come down the mountain to come back into the mainland. So we proceed to Cameroon from there for the export. But for the tea, because we do the processing of the tea right there in the farm, we dry it, we blend, we dry it and grind it there in the farm, and then bag it, and then ship it to our processing facility in Idu in Abuja. So that one is easy because it's a dry product. Already the moisture is gone, so it doesn't mold, nothing like that. So the road is bad, obviously, but we have trucks, that transport distance for us. So it's really okay. If that answers your question.
Okay.
Go
Engineer, go
on.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I am here. I'm not sure if I've met the speaker, Gaba. Not too
Yes.
sure, but I must commend you. By way of simple introduction, I'm Ademola Olorunfemi, an agricultural engineer. I had the privilege, president of the society, our society, Board of Engineers, 2014 and 2015. I have the honor to be part of Macheta branch, which I count a great honor. I will help you a little with one answer and then go to the main issue.
Okay.
I know why Patrick is asking about logistics. One of the things you've done is to reduce the weight that you don't need. You transfer the OT, the moisture content, water, whatever, just wasting money, transferring something that is heavy. Even though these are not heavy, trying them has actually uh, increased your margin compared to the party's permission, the cassava that it does. So, but let me commend you most frankly for several reasons. I told you, agric engineer, I live and work in Nigeria. I'll be 65 in a few weeks' time, and I'm retiring. And I think you played very smart. Um, you are not generous. You're not a hard businessman. You're not generous. You're only smart and reasonable. What you've done about let's take 50% is to own the company with them. And nobody steals from him or herself. That's a smart one, and you're obviously better for it. And it's a lesson for others. You make people part owner of what you are doing. Yes, it might not be 100% foolproof, better off. But the question I was going to ask, yes, I know that Nigeria, the public servant, which I am, the only business you're permitted to do is agriculture. But your response to this question almost gave me some answers. That how and where you find the time to do this, because you've done so much alongside your business in terms of your work. I can understand the strategy of your partner and owning this business with others, the workers. But on top of that, how did you manage time, this business, and your full-time job? Again, let me commend you. I would love um, to meet you one day very soon. With your permission, I'll take your number from the chairman. But those are my questions and those few comments. Thank you.
Okay, that's a very good question, and it's good and a very tough question, and only you can ask this question because you are working as well.
Yeah.
So, in to answer your question, it's very easy. In the beginning, it is difficult. If you remember, I mentioned to you back in the days that I was working in crude oil terminal operations. So what that means is being a regulator of the petroleum agency in Nigeria, if you are in crude oil terminal operations, you go to monitor the production and export of crude oil from various platforms. So you're typically working like a shift. So if I go to Bonga FPSO, for example, I spend 2 weeks in Bonga, then the next 2 weeks is my time off. I go home. I don't come back to the office. If I go to ERA or go to Akpo or go to Boni or go to Focados, I spend 2 weeks. The other 2 weeks is time off. So sometimes when we do the roster, sometimes I can go and decide to stay 4 weeks. Then I have 4 weeks off. If I stay 3 weeks, I have 3 weeks off. So this is the moment. That was the moment that I used to utilize my time off to do business. Okay. And I'm glad you understand. Being working with a government agency, I'm only allowed to do agricultural business, and that is
That,
exactly what
that,
I'm doing.
yeah, you really
Okay.
played safe. That was good.
Yes. So this
Yeah,
is what I do. I use my
yeah.
time off to build a business, and now that the businesses are running smoothly, like I said, I went to Mambila once this year, and this is the 10th month. We're even going into the 11th month of the year. I don't need to go. I have CCTVs everywhere. I have I use Day inverter and Waco batteries. They're all connected online. I use Starlink everywhere. So I see what is going on. Okay. So you don't need to be there. And if you need to be there, then you just got yourself a job, another job. So I'm an investor. I invest, I build, and I get out of the way, and I let them do it. And this is what I do. Like now in the coffee, we have just planted our coffee. By next year, we'll harvest them. Okay? And we'll start blending the coffee. That is the real African blend coffee. Why? Because we have secured partnership with a farm in Ethiopia and another farm in Uganda. So we are blending coffees that grow on 3 different countries in Africa. So we call it the African blend coffee. Okay,
Okay.
that is why. So we I understand where you're coming from, and it's easy to do that. I was lucky to be in crude oil terminal operations. If I was in the office where I have to work from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, it would have been difficult.
Your boss
But
will
when you, so that is
Okay.
how we. That's how.
Yeah, because of our time, engineer,
Yes.
I will allow Patrick to ask the
I,
questions.
I
And
saw
then
another question. Sorry to.
we
I don't know.
actually we close maybe after 1 hour, but because of interruption, we will extend it.
We can do part 2 next time.
Okay, so Abubakar, I just want to say that you are an inspiration, and I see more opportunities in actually inspiring younger generation and other people to do much more. So I see that, and I will keep your contact.
Accept us now. If you had not told us.
Check your
I
some
will.
LinkedIn, on social media is everywhere. It's free.
Yes, I will allow Engineer Patrick to ask questions. After his question,
Thank
our
you. Thank
chairman,
you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
yes, our chairman will now pick it up.
Yeah,
So,
thank
Engineer
you.
Patrick, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Chukwumogbonaya, for that. I know the time is
So far.
spent. I think mine is, I don't want to throw in more question. It's just to commend Engineer Abubakar Gaba for the presentation. I love the way you were able to put everything in a very nice story. And I think you did mention there are challenges. I think
Someone is commending
um,
Engineer Abubakar,
I,
but we could only hear what the commendation was.
I know doing business in Nigeria is very challenging, and especially agricultural
Brother, it's
business.
not for you. Here to yeah.
Hello?
Your ears
Yeah,
so
I
sensitive.
appreciate that, Engineer
Okay.
Patrick. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I was just saying, yes, doing business in Nigeria is quite challenging. I think you've been able to discuss around the
I have
export
a
side,
meeting.
which is something I've been involved with, and I know how challenging it is. Yeah, so because of time, I will just pause there. I think there is a question around whether NEPC help people to source for buyers from engineer. Good to see. I think I would just say no because I know NEPC and what they do. So they don't. That's not what their remit is. Yeah. So engineer Gaba Abubakar, thank you so much for your presentation, and
Thank you very much.
keep up the great work. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. I will now hand over to our branch chairman, Professor Adebmi, Bamidele Adebisi, MBA. Prof, please.
Oh, thank you, Engineer Abubakar. We really appreciate you. So I wasn't surprised. You might be wondering. So yeah, we went to the same university, same department. Yeah, and then but we didn't know each other on campus. We were sat next to each other on the flight by again just by accident. We kept talking. I drank his tea actually on the flight, and he showed me the difference between his tea and every other tea around the world, practically on a flight of just 7 hours. I learned so much. I was planning to sleep. I didn't sleep at all. So I thought I shouldn't be the only one to hear this amazing story. So thank you for coming. I wasn't surprised. I learned a new thing. Some of the things that you didn't even have the time to discuss, I learned them to tonight. So thank you so much. We pray that you continue to work strong. You will live long. Thanks for inspiring us tonight. But I'm sure many of us have, we got some things that we're going to do. Many people who meet Dangote and all they will be asking Dangote is $10,000 or $1,000. Yeah, you ask for wisdom and you are where we are today. Yeah. So it's really very amazing. So while we are there, so thanks, my engineer. Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
we can.
yeah, this is special announcement. Our Oga at the top, um, Engineer Adimola Olorunfemi is celebrating his retirement and birthday. So this is a special announcement from us. He's been very, very supportive, instrumental to the establishment of the branch, and he's been supporting us, the backbone of this branch actually. So we really want to appreciate you and support you. But everybody, please, I'm showing it here now because I know some people may not read their WhatsApp, so you won't say you haven't seen it. So this announcement So the date is on the 23rd of November, 2 to 6 p.m. Moses Hall Apartments, Redemption City of God, Ogun State. So it's not far from Lagos. That's okay, Redemption City, yeah. So it's not far from Lagos. So please, we will encourage as many people that can make it. But this is the announcement. I think we announce again, but I thought I should announce now. Engineer, you are there. Our patron,
Yes.
you have a word, just a short word that you want to share with us on this.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I was actually typing something before you gave me the honor to speak. And I stopped at 4. I said, I thank the Chairman most profoundly for this honor. I'm sorry I didn't share open my video. For some of us whom I know, I came to the house 2 a.m. this morning. Half of Lagos was locked down. You probably saw it online. So I came early not to try and catch some sleep. But I said, I must still attend. It's a great honor for me, and I thank you. Because of my friends and families, diaspora, I want everyone that could create time part of it. So it's going to be hybrid by every form. I also ensure that even in the planning committee, there are at least 2 of my friends, my brothers, my colleagues in the committee. I'm honored for this announcement. It's a great pleasure for me. I will provide further information to Patrick and Ferdinand as things go on. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Abaka, I said I advise you write a book or 2 on your investment story. So that it's not just about
He knows that we not let him, he has to. He knows that.
Thank you.
Even this presentation, he didn't want to make it, but I say he has no choice. There are things he must do. It's not for you. This is bigger than you, Jagaban.
You know, they say if you are planning something, don't discuss it until you finish.
I agree. Good.
So like somebody, I saw a question that I don't want to let go, maybe so that everybody can take from it. And I put my face so that people, in case you see me on the street, you know, let's greet and meet. You know, did you Chikwado Michael Ugu has asked, did you seek for investment capital from other investors? That's a very good question. You see, I have a policy. I don't borrow money. I start small with my money, and when I get to where I need to get to, then there's no company. There's even my farm. That's why it's called Anna and Associates Farming Company, African Blend, Associated African Foods. None of them is 100% owned by me, but it was owned by me from the time I started till the time it starts operating. But I always open up for people to come in and bring investment. They will see a working system, then they bring their investment, we scale up, and then we all own it. Because that's the only way.
Abubakar, just to be clear, the investment, like you described to me, is not for you to put in your pocket. The investment is to scale up. So they bring their money for it to be bigger, not bring your money so that you can go buy the next big car.
Exactly. So like for the tea, I started tea with 100 trees. Today we have over 80,000 trees. Okay. When we started packaging the tea, we started with 1 line. Today we have 6 lines. We can produce 6 tea products the same day at the same time. So we started with only 1, black tea. Then we did green tea. We have vanilla tea.
Should I go and bring the sample of the tea I'm drinking? I have ginger ale, I have mint tea. He gave me all this package.
Show them. Show them the tea. Yes. They need to drink the tea, and it's organic. It's really the way the name sounds, it's organic. So there's nothing, there's no dye in it, there's no chemical, there's nothing. It is the way it is. And when you take it in Nigeria,
I know.
you want it,
I know one of
Yeah.
them. I bought it before, but I never knew bought it before in Abuja. I know one of them.
then Ferdinand. Ferdinand is also talking about growing ginger. Ginger, you see, let me share a closing information with you about ginger. You see, ginger, Kaduna ginger is considered the best ginger in the world for some time. Do you know why? It is because, okay, that's jasmine green tea. You see jasmine
So
green tea?
that's jasmine, that's Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Yeah,
We're the
different
only
type.
we're the
The
only
first one,
company in West Africa that makes ginger, that makes jasmine green tea and Earl Grey tea.
So just sorry, Angela, just for everybody, sorry. Normally we finish at 6. We believe the meeting has actually finished because we have thanked Engineer Abubakar. So, but people want to stay on just for a chat. So please don't be under any obligation to stay on. I just